How you doing, people? I'm just going to take you through some notes and some information that I might have missed the last time we spoke. Okay, let's try that again. Anyway, I've been through registration and orientation. Basically, they talk about attendance at orientation. They talk about being able to plan career development, professional development, certain standards, financial aid, scheduling. So they go over a lot of information in orientation. It's about 3.5 hours. Let's dive into registration. Okay, registration was real simple. We got our ID badges, which I'm not going to show you because my picture looks terrible, but basically the ID badge is censored, so it gets you into all the doors at Full Sail, so the security is very tight. Also, it's registering for your classes. So whatever your degree program is, whether it be computer animation, digital media, film, whatever the case may be, each degree program has its own classes. You can test out of these classes if you have prior college experience and if your credits are transferable. So if you have a English class or maybe a math class that you could actually transfer credits for, you can get accredited and test out. You're required to take a test to do it, but they can do it for you if that's what you choose to do. As far as my schedule is concerned, I go to school 5 days a week. Okay, I go to school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. On Monday, just for an example, I go in at 5:15 in the evening and I don't get out until 1 in the morning. So that's 8 hours of English comp. Okay, there's no lab in that class, so that's 8 hours of just English. That's the reason why Full Sail graduates graduate in 21 months with the bachelor's as opposed to a 4-year university. It's because you're getting the same amount of class hours in a shorter period of time. So for the month of November, I don't know if you can kind of see that, but this is what the schedule looks like. And basically in the month of November, I have English composition and I have ethics and psychology. Okay, each one. On Mondays, I go in at 5:15 and I don't get out until 1 in the morning, so that's kind of a long day. And ethics and psychology, I go in at 1:15 and I don't get out until 11 p.m. Those are 4 days a week. On Saturday, I do have a class on Saturday, so like don't think that the class doesn't close on weekends. I mean, the school's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so it's a good chance that you'll probably get a class on a weekend. On Saturday, I go in at 1:15 and I get out at 5, so it's only 4 hours, but it's still a pretty long time. And that's the way the classroom actually works. So the accredited hours in November that I'll get for English composition and ethics and psychology equal up to be the amount of credited hours at another university for an entire semester. That being said, let's talk about attendance. Okay. They require you to attend 90%, I believe, yes, 90% of your lectures. So if you have 100 credited hours and you're only able to miss 10%, that's only 10 hours. So that means basically if you miss one day, one class, you're F. You're F. Okay, you have to attend every class and you have to be there on a timely manner. As far as being late to class, considered being late is 15 minutes. So 1, 2, 3, 15 minutes if you're late is considered a tardy. 5 tardies equal 2 hours of being late. So basically if you miss one day and you're late 5 times, you fail. Another thing too is that each degree program offers a max amount of credits. So that means that if I go over 210 credits after everything's said and done, I won't graduate. Because even though you failed the class and you have to take it over again, you're getting that amount of credit hours again. Main thing that they really spoke about though is what Full Sail calls the GPS. It's how the school operates and it's scored. Okay, so each student's scorecard based upon what they do. Okay, and I'll explain this to you. There's 3 portions of the GPS. There's a campus portion, there's an education portion, and there's a community portion. Campus portion is geared more towards parking, following the rules, obeying the speed limits, obeying the parking. If a security officer stops you and you give him a hard time, you're going to get points deducted from your GPS. Okay, education is basically your GPA and your attendance. Community is basically extracurricular activities. So if they're doing a canned food drive or they're doing something for the community as far as Full Sail is concerned, you can actually gain extra points towards your GPS if you partake. So it's better for you if you do. There's posters all around school about what will give you points and what won't, what activities will. So it's in good mind as a student to really take advantage of that and really, partake in what goes on around the school. At the end of everything, they take your campus and education grade, they add them up, and then they average them out, and then they add your community points on top of it. So it's possible to get over 100, and it's possible to get much lower than 100 depending on how you act. So it all comes down to your attitude. But obviously, each student, you start at 100 and you go from there. There's a lot more I could probably talk about GPS with that, but there's really no point. If you apply to school, you'll learn for yourself. Financial aid. Financial aid is financial aid. My advisor wasn't the best, but then again, I really took care of it myself anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But work-study program, so if you need a tutor or you want to be a tutor, I believe if you want to be a tutor, they, I think, offer $10 an hour, which is pretty good, especially if you're a student. If you need a tutor, which I'll probably need a tutor for math, it's a different story. It's offered for free, and basically you can do that if you want. They talked about living expenses, okay? Living expenses, obviously, if you go to Full Sail, you can't hold down a job, not a full-time job anyway. If you do have a job, it has to be extremely flexible. Basically, in order to receive your living expenses, which is what you took a personal loan for, you have your federal loan, and then you have your personal loan. Okay, your personal loan is, divided for that extra portion of tuition that wasn't covered by the federal government, and then you take a little bit more for your living expenses. Your living expenses are issued by the school. Checks are picked up at the school, okay, and there's certain guidelines that you have to abide by in order to get your cost of living. Okay, your GPS or your GPA attendance, so your attendance has to be good, and your grade point average has to be over, I think it was 2.0, which honestly is pretty simple to do even if you just attend. So basically you have to attend class, okay? You can't miss any classes. The school will issue you a certain allotted amount that you needed for your cost of living, and then from there you get to use it for whatever you want. But it's issued in 4-month increments. So that means that if you take out $1,000 a month, they're going to give you 4 months of it at one time. So you're going to get $4,000 to use for another 4 months, okay? But you have to be enrolled for 45 days until you get it. So I won't see my cost of living until December 11th is what they told me. So you have to really stretch out what you have, and if you have savings, it helps even more. They talked about the campus and the different buildings, stuff like that. You'll learn all that if you apply and you come here. I'm not going to go into that. That's ridiculous. But anyway, the main thing, too, is people probably wonder, well, do you get any breaks? Being that you do graduate in 21 months, do you get any breaks for a holiday and stuff like that? You do. Okay. Holiday breaks are as follows. For spring break, you get 1 week. I'm not really sure of the date, so bear with me. Memorial Day, you get off. Okay, but that's the only day you get off is for Memorial Day. Summer, you get 1 week, and that's around July 4th. It's going to be on July 4th, but I'm not sure if it starts before or after. Okay. Labor Day, you get 3 days. Thanksgiving, you get 4 days. And winter, 2 weeks. Okay, you get 2 weeks for Christmas and New Year's. Okay, so you do get breaks. It's not as often as typical universities will have, but at least you have breaks, okay? And you're probably going to appreciate them as much as I do if you start going here, because let me tell you, I'm sure I'm in for it. Basically, there's, it comes down to 4 things that they really say will make you be successful at Full Sail. Basically, you have to attend 90% of all your lectures, okay? Take very good notes. Get excellent study habits, so definitely make time for doing homework and studying. Research and development, so definitely do some research on what you're interested in, where you may want to work, and it all comes down to your attitude. So basically, the better of attitude that you have, the more successful you're going to be. If you go to school with your mind, body, and spirit all in one place, and you're centered and you're ready to learn, not only will you have Zen, but you'll also be successful. I start classes on Monday, okay, and I have English composition, so I go in at 5:15, and I leave at 1, so I'll let you know immediately after how I feel afterwards. So getting English composition for 8 hours probably isn't the easiest thing, but I guess I will talk to you guys soon, and I'll hit you up. Peace.